All right, here's I don't know, $1 billion question. Why is it that our Indians act like they've never ever seen food in their lives? Why is it that they act so desperate? I made that previous video about Indians behaving, in that global summit where they were pushing and shoving each other for plates. And this is not a new phenomenon. We have seen this during events, we have seen this during conferences, although not as extreme as pushing and shoving. But our Indians act like they never seen food. And if you actually pay close attention to the way Indians take food in a buffet, they will never take like little bit. They'll always take like a mountain of food. It's like as if they fear that this food is going to get over. I might as well take enough and more, so I don't have to worry second round food is there or not there. Okay, so where does this stem from? And finally, what can be the solution? Okay, I'm going to share my thoughts in this video, and to make this video really genuine and interesting, I'm going to tell you about me and my family. Okay, it's going to be a heartfelt, heart to heart video. Okay, and I'll be the first one to admit that this what you saw, this desperation for food, now this is actually uh, me and my family. We were like this once upon a time. Not the pushing and shoving, but the desperation for food. And I'll give you an idea so you can understand. Okay, now, as you know, I was born and raised in a South Indian family. Okay, Mangaloreans. Okay, my mother and stepfather. They lived in Mumbai, Bombay, and then they moved over to UAE, Sharjah, Dubai, whatever. So over there, my parents had just started their life. Okay, just started. No internet, no computers, no nothing. Just a simple family. So when we used to eat food, I so vividly remember we would always have rice, which was the staple diet of Indians, and we would have a side dish, which was always one vegetable and one curry with meat. Now, obviously, me as a young boy, I didn't like the vegetables. I liked the meat, the chicken. Chicken was the cheapest, and sometimes we would even have mutton or beef. But here's the funny thing: like my this is actually a fact. My mother and father, they would buy this chicken. They would do the shopping for the week. Okay, so they bought the chicken, they bought the beef or meat, whatever, and it had to last for 1 week. So just imagine. I don't have anything here to show. Just imagine a dish with curry and chicken pieces, chicken leg, a full chicken. So chicken leg, chicken breast, and whatever. So obviously, the first day you'll have all the choicest pieces of chicken. So I used to love chicken leg. So my mother would give me one chicken leg. Fine. And you can't take more, not allowed. Okay. So I would love to eat the chicken, and I would always look at my mother's plate and father's plate if but they would also eat. So I was like, then I would ask my mom. My mom would give maybe one more piece of chicken. She'd say, enough, enough, enough. Okay, eat rice, eat vegetable. Okay. Second day, the chicken would reduce a little bit more. Third day, a little bit more. You will not believe this. By the time it was day 5, repeatedly, they would eat and then keep this in the fridge. Then bring it out, heat, keep it back in the fridge. This was like dinner. So finally, we actually had a utensil where the chicken was cooked. There was nothing but curry at the below, just curry. And it was slightly dark because you overheated so many times. And then my mother would maybe fry an egg and you can take the curry with the egg. So that's how I remember my childhood. So eating choicest good pieces of meat was always a rarity. And if in case there was an opportunity to take one extra piece, I would definitely take it. Why? Because I knew that maybe tomorrow this piece would not be there. This chicken leg would not be there. Only two pieces, no? Two pieces of chicken leg. So that was the scarcity mentality. And this continued for me. Whenever I would see food being cooked, I would want the best pieces, prawns, crabs, whatever. But then this spilled over to the rare visits that we used to have to other people's house. If we were visiting someone else's house, I'll tell you this, that to me was wow, free food in my head. But given the fact that we were lower middle class people, the what they would actually cook sausages, which were the cheapest. We would cook sausages. We would cook, cheese, which was cheap. Chips, crisps. You would get. This was the starters in the house, and later on they would give you rice with some maybe the cheapest fish possible, or they would not give you very expensive stuff, and maybe cheap pieces of chicken, whatever. Very rarely they would bring in KFC. KFC was also available those days. Okay, KFC or fried chicken, some kind of fried chicken from Pakistani joints and all. And you'll not believe this, huh? This is actually a fact. My parents would, a small boy. As a small boy, my parents would sit in the car. Actual, huh? Sit in the car and like we are parked outside the house of this person who we are going to celebrate Christmas or Easter or some maybe baptism or Christian festivals or. And my parents would park the car and say, "Listen, you're going there. Behave yourself." Actually, my mother and stepfather would tell me, "Behave yourself. Don't act like you never seen food in your life." They would actually tell me, "Don't act and don't eat too much. Don't talk too much. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Whatever all bullshit." Okay. So by the time we would go there, I'd actually sit down and look around. You know, look around what to do. It's a boring party for these adults. Everyone's sitting down. So children would play, and then my parents say, "Okay, go and play." And when they would bring the food items, it was just sausages, cheese, and chips. I would like to eat the sausages, meat, which was processed. Okay, fine. So that was it. But then obviously we used to go to restaurants, and there in Dubai, in Sharjah, Dubai, whatever, there were these Arabic restaurants where they would give Arabic food like shish kebabs and shish taouk and all the different meats. My mother would take me once a while because my mother used to also work for the sheikhs. Those days, the actual ruling family, you could easily meet them in the 70s and 80s. Okay. So, because she used to interact with the Arabs and the Arabs showed what kind of food they used to eat, so my mother was well aware of hummus and all the Arabic food and Arabic names. So, for us, because my mother used to meet the sheikh's wife and she had access to them. We didn't have. I was too small. So she would take us to Arabic restaurants. In the Arabic restaurant, they will give you, if you order kebabs, they'll give you the kebabs, chicken kebab or meat kebab, lamb kebab. And they would give you the, what do you call that? Hummus, different kinds of hummus, which used to come with that. That was complimentary. And the soup, there was always an opening starter soup, which was just water and vegetables. That was also free. Along with that was the kubus or the bread, Arabic bread. That was also for free. You know what my mother used to do? When they used to give the free kubus and even even the tissue box, which was filled with tissue, my mother, she used to take a purse. She would, there were no cameras and all that. She would take the tissues and put it inside. Kubus, which used to come in packets like 4, 5, 6, she would put it in her bag. And sometimes, like she would tell me, you don't want, keep it properly, we'll take it home. So for me as a small boy, my mother is saying, "Oh, fine." So she would take all this. And then if any food was left, obviously we'd take it home. And she would ask for complimentary hummus and all that. And those were men, they were more than happy to give us because we were an Indian family, which is very rare. Okay. So all this, wherever there was something for free, my mother would take it and keep it in the bag. And this continued when we flew in the airlines, jam. This is a bad habit maybe I have even today, I'll admit. If I get any jam, if I get any orange jam, strawberry jam, anything, I'll just keep it, like, why to waste? And sometimes I keep it because, if you have a bread and jam and you just want a quick bite, okay. I still, I do it to this day. If I get a complimentary, I take it and give it to somebody else. Not for me. I don't need it. Okay. But those days, I would see the jam, I would see this thing, I would take two, three. In fact, I would even ask, can you give me strawberry jam? Can you give me pineapple jam? Can you give me... It used to come in these nice bottles of... Now it comes in the plastic, this thing. So anything that was complimentary, I used to take. My mother, then later on, I found out if you go in certain aircrafts, you get complimentary alcohol, which was, my mother used to order the bottles, the small baby bottles. Okay. So we lived that concept. We were not aware, is this rude? Is this impolite? We just thought this is the way it is. At least I thought, because this is my upbringing. So that carried over to, we didn't stay in very many hotels, but when we did stay, I think one or two in my lifetime with my parents, the shampoo bottles, soap bottles, small towel. See, not the big one, small towel. We have taken that. And yes, during buffets, this was a big thing. During a buffet or whatever you call it, I so vividly remember this. There was this Ajman Club, Ajman Seafarers Club or this thing, where they held a party. You had to pay money for buffet. And majority, almost all were Indians. You will not believe. The plate, instead of taking two, three pieces and sitting down, we used to take a mountain of it. And my mother would say, better take. It'll get over. It'll finish. So in one round, we would take enough and more, so much that maybe this one plate, three people can eat. And the MC and the people who are organizing the event, they were foreigners or whatever. Please, you don't need to take excess. Just take how much you want. There's enough food for everyone. You can come the second round, third round. They kept repeating on the mic, but nobody was listening. And they would take so much. And the most shocking bit was, there's only so much you can eat. The rest of the food, they had to throw in the black bags because you can't have a takeaway. So I've seen this kind of behavior in weddings, in parties. In fact, during weddings which were Christian weddings, the alcohol was free. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Everyone would dress up like their Sunday best. Father would dress up nice. Mother would dress up, the typical children would dress up nice. When they would come for the wedding, the wife and the children sit on the table, one table, and the father or the male member of the family sit down. The minute the bar would open, all the men really would go and stand at, like, sheepishly, go look left and right, who's walking, and they would walk to the bar. Hey, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Like, they're not interested in saying hi. They just want to show that they came to network so that they can order their free drink. And right away, they'll start drinking the alcohol. You'll see this in Indian weddings and Indian parties. If the alcohol is free, they drink as if there's no tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. When there was a wedding, and this is a fact, when there was a wedding or when there was a party, my parents would actually tell me, my mother would tell me, listen, don't eat food now, don't eat food. In 2-3 hours, you'll get very good food, you'll eat all you want. Don't eat now. And there you eat properly, properly. Why are you eating this? And at the party, the instruction was, don't waste with rice and bread. Eat meat, eat all the delicious, expensive stuff. So this is how my upbringing was, and this is how, I mean, I'm a young kid. Those days, I'm a young kid. The values that I get is from my mother and father. So if they tell me to behave like this, they tell me to act like this, and they themselves are acting, I mean, what prevents any one of us acting differently? I don't know if this has been the same in your family, but I'm telling you how it was in our family. Okay. Uh, in fact, here's a very interesting thing to tell you that, I feel it's a little bit of entitlement also because when I, 2, 3 years ago, when I took my wife with me to this VIP client who paid everything in Bangkok, and my wife was with me, my baby was too small. I had booked this five-star hotel whereby breakfast was for free. I'd asked my wife, "Do you want the breakfast included?" She said, "No, I don't want farang breakfast," and she was grumpy about it. But I booked the breakfast because it was much more cheaper than eating separate. So every morning we would get up at 5. By 6, the breakfast would open. You'll not believe. I used to observe my wife. My wife never took, like, she's Thai. She doesn't come from a rich family. She never piled on stuff on the plate. She just took little, little, little. And she asked me, "We can take again?" I said, "Yeah, you can take again." So she used to take very little. Just imagine. My wife is 16 years younger. I've never told her anything. I wanted to see how she would act and behave. And she would take very little, and she say, "We'll eat this, then we'll take second round." It's incredible. It's really, really incredible. In fact, I'll leave you with last two examples. Um, you know, Babu India Hot. Uh, I've made videos about him. He's a Nepali guy who runs this Indian restaurant. He has told me some of the worst, among the worst clients are, the majority are Indians. And I asked him why. He said, whenever Indian group comes together, they are the only ones. Remember this. They are the only ones who will ask for extra onions for free. Like, extra onions, can you cut and give? Extra tomatoes, extra free salad. They will show meat. Oh, this curry meat is very less. Why? We want more piece. They'll ask for free bread, even though bread is supposed to charge. No, but you don't have any complimentary bread and all that. And some of them would even say, the food was not too good. We didn't like it. Give us some discount. Give us some discount. Or, okay, we didn't enjoy this. What can you do for us? Means, can you get it for free? And then the worst, this one is both Indians as well as the whites, the Goras. Oh, I'm an influencer. I have so many followers, and we give good reviews. If you can do something for us, we can do something for you. You see, for those of you who don't run a restaurant or don't know, every item costs money. Every item. And given the fact that he does not use duplicate or fake masalas or fake additives, like you can Google search fake paneer in McDonald's as well as Burger King and these fast food outlets in India. Paneer, which is cheese, cottage cheese. If you put, I think, iodine or something, if it is fake, its color will change into purple or something. Okay. These social media content creators have actually ordered the paneer and put iodine over there, and it has turned purple. Means it's a fake. It's a artificially processed this thing. It is not actual cheese because to manufacture it, the original, authentic one is very expensive, very, very expensive. So, how is it that they are selling these burgers and these items or paneer masala? They're selling for much more cheaper. So, what he told me is, I even the curry, the curry base for all Indian food. I actually didn't know this, but the onions, tomatoes, the garlic, the ginger, everything that he pays money, and they cook it with ghee, actual ghee or oil or whatever, one day in advance, and store it. And then they use this authentic original base. He told me if I wanted to save money, I could just buy a packet and just stir it and cook it. But I'm giving them the authentic flavor, which cost me a lot of money. My cost goes very high. And when you have vegetables and chicken and everything going so high, the profit margins, he's saying, I can't keep increasing the price of my servings. I can't reduce the portions because people will compare and contrast, which almost everyone is doing. So the people who ask for free and complimentary and extras have always been Indians. So, what do I want to say or conclude? The reality of the matter or the tragedy of the matter is the upbringing that our Indians go through or lack thereof, the lack of education, the lack of awareness is why Indians behave the way they do. They have been, they have always been raised with scarcity. They have always been raised with if you don't grab this, you'll not get it tomorrow. So that is why even if they get free and it's of no use, they will still grab it. Why? Because maybe they'll not get it tomorrow. Maybe they can use it. So even where food is concerned, even though my mother, I think today when I sit and think that caboose was hardly, it was cheap. The tissues were cheap. But she didn't think about, I can just go and buy this, it's cheap. Rather, she would think that, oh, I'm getting all this for free. I can feed members in my family. So I guess that free, that feeling that you get, the dopamine effect, wow, it's for free. It's so much more addictive than actually spending the pennies to buy the bread, the tissue. Even sometimes my mother would take the plastic cutlery. Thank goodness she didn't take the actual original cutlery for free. Uh, anyway, as I grew up, as I traveled and met other people, different cultures, and experienced life, I realized I don't have to be desperate for food. Food is always available. Uh, you know, we are not going to die starving. So I guess this has to be imparted to our Indians that food is always there. Don't act like you've never seen food. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing because they don't do it out of bad intention, but they do it out of insecurity, fear, and the scarcity mentality that I'll not get this good food again. And I'm saving money. That saving money mentality. That is why they argue for can I have like when they buy onions or when they buy tomatoes, they can have the most expensive iPhone, but they still will bargain for that one onion. One onion extra, one fish extra, one small piece of shrimp extra, tomato, one. What is that value of that one? Yeah, come on. Anyway, good, bad, ugly, feel free. Comment down below. I just thought I'll keep it real and speak from the heart. All right, you guys take care. This is me signing off.